Hello, music fans. Welcome to the Death by Unicorn channel. Making a different kind of video today as we're near the end of the year. I saw my Spotify wrap for 2023 and thought that'd be a cool video to make and just share with everyone out here who might care to watch this. Leave a comment down below with your Spotify wrapped information, or if you don't use Spotify, just guess what are some of the songs you listen to most, artists you listen to most. And yeah, feel free to roast my picks as well. And let's start off with genres. I listened to 23 genres this year. Here's the top 5. It's not that surprising to me that progressive metal is at the top. That's my favorite genre. Deep progressive rock. I didn't even know what deep progressive rock is. I know what progressive rock is, and that's not a surprise. It's my second favorite genre. You see deep progressive rock is my number 2, and modern progressive rock is my number 5. I guess deep progressive rock is like complex progressive rock with lots of time signature changes and eclectic stuff. So that kind of makes sense. I looked it up right before making this video. And my number 3 is rock, and my number 4 is gent. I guess those aren't that surprising. Rock's pretty broad. A lot of things can fall under rock. I'm not sure what Spotify classifies every song or artist as, but this kind of makes sense to me. For songs, I listened to 6,336 songs this year, so that's a lot of songs. These are the 5 that I listened to most on the right here. I played my top song 11 times, and I know that's not a lot of times. Like most other people, I think, play their top songs a lot more times than I do, but I listened to so much music, I didn't really have time to dwell on and repeat the same songs and albums over and over again. Even some of my favorite albums I might have listened to maybe 10 times the whole year, because I listened to over 400 albums this year. I didn't have time to spin even my favorites more than like 10 times. But my top song is by Hypnos, and it's called Sheol Part 2, Lands of Haze. That's the song I listened to most this year. Then it was Haken, Elephants Never Forget, my favorite song on the Haken album, which Haken's a band I love. So these 2 are no surprise. I love both those songs. Aphelion by The World Is Quiet Here was my number 3 song, another great one. My favorite song on this album. A really great album. And my number 4 song of the year is by Neo Obliviscaris, a band I saw live this year. It's called Misery Chord 2, Anatomy of Quiescence. Really great song as well. My number 5 is Bring It Back by Rain, which is another great song. A little surprised that it made my top 5. Actually, I didn't know that I listened to it that many more times than some other songs, because I think these top 4 songs are going to be albums that are featured in my top 50 of the year. Spoiler alert, a little for a future video. Not sure yet if this Rain album will be in my top 50. It's definitely in my top 100, but it's falling a little short of my top 50. Still a great album. Every album that these songs are from is really great. Now let's look at artists. So I listened to 728 artists this year. These are the 5 I listened to most here on the right. Riverside was my number 1, and apparently I'm a top 2% of Riverside according to Spotify. I spent 811 minutes, which is 13 and a half hours, listening to Riverside this year, which makes a lot of sense because I really newly got into Riverside this year when their album ID Entity came out. That's when I decided to listen to their entire discography, and yeah, I just really got into them this year. So they're kind of a new band for me this year. I didn't listen to them much before. My number 2 is Coheed and Cambria. That makes sense because I did a video with Kyle from All Media Reviews where we did a tier list of the Coheed and Cambria albums. So I listened to their entire discography in preparation for that. And yeah, I've always loved Coheed and Cambria. So they're actually, if I look at this whole list, 1 is Riverside, 2 is Coheed and Cambria, 3 Redemption, 4 Banco del Mutuo Soccorso, and 5 is Hypnos. Four of these five are kind of bands that I'm newly into. All of them except Coheed and Cambria. I've been into Coheed and Cambria for a long time, but Riverside and Redemption and Hypnos, I only just got into them this year. Never listened to them really before this year. Banco del Mucho Cercoso, I only just got into them last year in 2022 when their 2022 album came out. And I've been getting into their back catalog and listening to all their stuff more last year and this year. So four of these five bands in my top artists this year are bands that I didn't even know just over 2 years ago. All of them except Coheed. I've known Coheed for a while. So Redemption's my number three. Great band as well. Riverside's like a progressive rock band with some metal influences. Coheed and Cambria's a progressive rock band as well, but they've got that like post-hardcore emo influence in there, as well as just some indie and alternative rock. Really cool band with a concept discography. And Redemption is more like progressive power metal, a pretty solid band. Banco del Mutuo Cercoso is Italian progressive rock, a classic band that started way back in the 70s. But their album from 2022 is really great as well. But I love their work from the 70s. I think they dipped a little bit in the 80s, but they are back to form now with their latest album, which is really great. And Hypnos is like more of a progressive metal band. It's very atmospheric and kind of post metal and cinematic sounding. Sounds like a movie soundtracks. It really hypnotizes you for fans of Tool, but it's a lot more extreme. There's harsh vocals. Really great band. I think they're from France. And Spotify told me, gave me like this, my music listening personality or something, how I listen to music. They consider me a hypnotist, and their description of me is your concentration is absolute. You like to play albums all the way through from the opening track to the final note. That is spot on. I do like listening to albums from start to finish. I don't typically listen to songs in isolation. I like to play an album from start to beginning, from beginning to end, I should say. So that is my Spotify Wrapped. Hope you found something enjoyable there. And let me know yours down in the comments. And until next time, peace out.